blow pretty strongly. But even then, it's a nice deep water area, so it's a nice safe place to enter. Finding it's very, very shallow actually. Not a great place to enter at all. Most of those boats that are on moorings out on Otehei Bay are very shallow drafted vessels. So because of the types of crew that worked on whaling and sealing vessels back in those times from the fire in 1845, that's actually a printery. They used that building to print the Bible. They were tanning leather so that they could bind the books that they were printing, having the Bible translated into Māori and printing that and distributing it amongst the local community. The only other building that was saved, a beautiful little church that we call Christ. High tide and vegetation growing on them, then they are considered an island. And actually the translation of the word motu, which is the beginning of this island's name, Motu Aotea, loosely translated, it means island. unfortunately slowly rotting away. Hopefully someone will do some repairs to it and try and keep it alive in a way. And there's only one building that still exists from Zane Gray's time. They call that little Zane Gray's cabin. But he had a shop here and a couple of other buildings to know what specific type of marlin they were, whether they were striped, black or blue. So he caught and kept 10 marlin in one day, which is quite an amazing feat. These days they make it much easier on the marlin when they are catching them, or any sort of broadbill fish, those sorts of things. And you can see why. It doesn't get a lot of sun in the morning, so it's a bit chilly here for a while. Starting to get a bit of sun on the beach. I think that's where I'd be, in that little patch of sun, or maybe walking around the hill to warm up. But this is the only island you're allowed to camp on. Puka Island is the largest island in the bay, and you can camp either at Sunset Bay or around the corner. There's another spread out all to our right is the mainland coastline, and up in front is a little community called Tenapati, which means the sun rising, or the east, and it is as far east as you can come on the road, by road. You come out the old back. Not too much movement, but you feel most of that movement on the front. But if you are moving around, just, once again, make sure you're always holding on to things. Okay, so I only saw sort of 2 big splashes. I have a feeling it might just be a couple of dolphins, which is unusual. And I think they're right under the front, which makes it very difficult for anybody else to see them. And the size of those splashes, I would presume that they are bottlenose dolphins. It's definitely a bottlenose dolphin. But unfortunately, bottlenose dolphins, when they're in the right mood and with the way that they approached us, I think all they do want to do is play. So, oh yeah, one up in front on the deck. It's very unusual for a bottlenose dolphin to be on its side. So I would have thought there's 2 here. The splashes that I saw looked like there were 2. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these dolphins is a dolphin we know called Joe 90. She's a funny little dolphin. I still call her a little dolphin even though she's... Our other vessels saw 2 dolphins here at the Sisters yesterday. So these 2 rocks out to our left hand side are called the Twins, or the Sisters. You can see they're quite similar shaped, one's slightly larger than the other, as is often the way with twins. Oh yeah, straight under the front of the boat again. of... I think those bottlenose dolphins followed us on the front for a while because you're still seeing them for a wee while. I think they've dropped off now though. We've come to the end of the Cape Peninsula, after Rangamanga, and we're now under a very cool old lighthouse. Well, I think it's a pretty cool old lighthouse. It no longer operates though. It would be really awesome if it did still operate. The diesel generator. The light revolved in a bath of mercury with gears and chains that were rotated by a weighted chain system. Some of you might know the light, mercury is very deep, but also it made for smoother operating of the gears and cogs that rotated the light. So I think sometimes because there's still a house out here, people think there is a lighthouse keeper, but there isn't. That light has been left there as accommodation for all those people that do. But it's just starting to come into view, or about to start coming into view. Just to our right, there it is. We've got a reasonable sized swell rolling out here actually. But it's a big old hole through an island. And it's become very well known because sometimes we can get this boat through it. And as far as I'm aware, erosion, lots of erosion. And of course the sea works away at the lower areas. But how it all starts really is... The island has several names. Obviously we just mostly refer to it as the Hole in the Rock. There you go. We got part way in anyway. Just not all the way through today. Still, it's not very often you can say you've been backed into the Hole in the Rock, either. But you can see, couldn't you? It's really big once you're inside. It's a massive passage. Still looking for marine life along the way. You just never know what we're going to bump into. See all sorts of things out here in the open ocean waters.
And there's a guy feeding.